Alafia, everyone, and welcome to the ISIS Chronicles. Oh boy, this is my first show. And I have a website. So it actually started off with me wanting to bring women together to tell their stories, hence the ISIS Chronicles. Because I feel women's issues are extremely similar, and they cross social, economical, and racial barriers, right? And one of the major issues that affects us all is the oppression of women. And that's why I decided to create a forum or a platform where women can actually come, speak their minds, and all that good stuff. And it started off with my website. So I have a website, theisischronicles.com. You can go check that out. And I, coming into the age that I am, started to realize how much the divine energy has been suppressed. And obviously there have been women fighting this fight for a very long time, and I am a newbie to this, and I will continue to not fight the fight, but to come and bring about change, because I don't believe in, fighting is just honestly leads to more fighting. So it has caused havoc, the suppression of the feminine principle, to our society, to our world. And, I wanted to bring something to light, which some of you may know, some of you may not know. There is such a thing called the law of gender. What is the law of gender? The law of gender tells us that gender is in everything, that everything has both a masculine and feminine principle. And this law is evident throughout creation in the so-called opposite sexes, right? Found not only in human beings, but also plants, minerals, electrons, magnetic poles, and this is just to name a few things. Everything has a masculine and feminine element. Everything. So if you're a man, I don't care how macho you are, yes, you have a feminine principle. And I don't care how feminine you are as a woman, you have a masculine principle. So let's talk about some of the outward expressions of the feminine qualities, right? Which are love, patience, intuition, and gentleness. And some of the masculine qualities are energies, right? Are self-reliance, logic, intellect. And so, but please understand that women possess the latent qualities of a man, and within every man, those qualities of a woman exist as well. And we need to understand that once we actually understand and know this is completion. This is to be actually whole, okay? One of the things. And now I want to talk about the patriarchal society that we live in. I am a feminist. Yes, I am a feminist, and I'm a black feminist. I'm an Afro-Latina feminist, okay? And I must say I am not a man-bashing feminist. There are different levels, in my opinion, to feminism. And I am one who believes that men are needed because they bring a balance. And without balance, we have imbalance, and imbalance causes chaos, as we see right now. So we live in a society, like I said, that suppresses the feminine principle. And this, again, has caused havoc in every imaginable way that you can even think of. Even Mother Nature is suffering because the women's feminine principle has been suppressed. I have felt a shift happening for a while now. And I'm, if you speak to someone who may be a woman who's in their 60s or 70s, they felt this shift as well Probably. This is why they went out and protested and, for women's rights and equality. And this has been going on, especially in this country, for what, since the turn of the 1900s, or with the women's suffrage and everything like that. But I have a question, because I'm always talking to my my female friends, or maybe colleagues, or classmates, but I never really posed this question. And actually it was someone very special to me who asked this question. And the question is, can we have a woman empowerment movement without a heavy male involvement to actually bring about the change that we need and we want? And I'm going to have you guys call in. I want my male callers as well to actually call in, because I want to hear the male perspective on this, okay? The telephone number here is 914-251-6974, okay? Again, the number is 914-251-6974. Can we have that? Like, we have made, as women, great strides in equality and things of that nature, but we still have so much more to do. And I personally believe that we cannot have a successful movement, we cannot have a successful, a change without the males in our society, quote unquote, leaning in, right? Being advocates, being our allies, standing up to other men and saying, nah, that's not right. Don't call her that. Or, rape is not good. Hello, rape is not right. Abuse of women, talking to women, catcalling, something as simple as catcalling. No woman wants to go down the street and hear whistling and howling and all that nonsense. That's a form of abuse, okay? And I want to bring up a topic that, has been in the news for some time now, and it's the whole Me Too movement. And if you don't know what the Me Too movement is, this is has been brought about because of sexual allegations and just sexual abuse that's been going on for, I want to say, thousands of years now. Okay. My question is to men, right? How many men can actually say they've come across a woman who has not been sexually assaulted or abused sexually, has some type of sexual misconduct, some type of way? Think about that. How many of you can actually sit here and say, nah, I don't know not one woman who hasn't been like sexually, abused in some shape or form? That's a problem. Sexual abuse is a problem, period. Because guess what? Boys and men get abused too. Okay? And that is so huge, because it is bringing about this taboo, I want to say, because women really didn't speak out about this. Women didn't really, we might have talked about it amongst each other, like, oh girl, yeah, that happened to me too. And even as women, we normalized it, like, well, I ain't the only one, and it's not normal. It is not normal. I like to use this example when men cannot really understand the fight that women have to go through, whether it's on the job, right? Whether it's, again, sexual misconduct, or, just trying to get their point or their point of view across. It's, oh, you're being too emotional, or, this last presidential election said it all. the questions that, Hillary Clinton was getting. And mind you, I'm not a Clinton fan. I'm not. But it was clear sexism. And, well, how can a woman do that job? She's going to be too emotional. Yeah. Women are emotional. And that's what's lacking, in my opinion, emotion. Because if there was some emotion happening there, then maybe we would think twice about bombing, another country on the other side of the world, because it just, it doesn't affect us. But a woman, if she's in that round table, she's going to ask certain questions. But what about this? And what about that? What's going to be the outcome of, that particular, state or the people that live there? The mothers, the father. We actually think about these things because we have emotion. And if the feminine principle was, not suppressed even within men could also look at it that way. But back to my example. People understand that, well, not everybody. I understand that if it doesn't affect me, I may not actually understand it all the way and get it all the way. And I get that. Everything is relative, as they say. But let me give you this example. Race in America, right? We know for hundreds of years in this country, we blacks have had hardships and have been discriminated against. However, if you take polls back from the 60s and the 50s and even the 70s, our white counterparts would say, man, it's not that bad. Times are changing. We're in the same playing field. It was as though black people's plight, they're imagining this. They're crazy for thinking this. They get jobs and, housing and all of that stuff. What? Murder? The cops ain't murdering up. No, right? So this was, they couldn't get or understand it. Fast forward to now, we have Apple phones and Samsung phones that have cameras, and we can actually videotape this stuff, right? We can show the world, like, this is what's happening. We are not crazy, okay? And now we can start to see, everyone can start to see, like, yeah, America has a huge racial problem. It's not something that was, invented or it's imagined or anything like that. No. And I feel the same way for the women's fight. That when we speak out about the plight that we have, about the things that we have to go through, the struggles that we have to go through every single day, it's y'all bugging. Y'all get to top positions. You women are CEOs. Women are graduating from college at a high rate. Women are doing this and women are doing that. That does not mean that we are not still going through struggles. That does not mean we're not going through struggles. That doesn't mean that, you may get that job because that's your homeboy or that's your pal from college. Though I may be more qualified, though I may have more experience, you wanted to stay a boys club, the good old boys club. And that affects us as women, because we're like, but wait a minute, I know that I could bring more to the table. I know that I'm more of an asset, but he gets the job because what? He's your pal, he's your friend, he's a guy. Like, really? That's one small smidgen of it. Then we have the pay gap. We know about the pay gap and how we do not get paid the same. one of the hot topics not too long ago was, the Hollywood starlets coming out and being like, listen, we're not getting paid the same. And you could say, oh, woe is me, or woe is them, because they're getting millions of dollars, but that is not the point, right? The point is that why are the male stars getting almost twice as much as the women? What is that? What's going on? I mean, I know what's going on. That's the question that I pose, though. So, with that being said, men need to stand up. And it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. Why is it not going to be easy? Because we have been trained and conditioned for the last, 5,000 to 6,000 years to think like this. Oh, it's locker room talk. We have a misogynistic bigot in office right now who was clearly heard saying, grab him by the pussy. Just grab him. Hey, they like that shit. They like that type of shit. Grab him. And we still have people, and which really killed me. Oh, sorry. Which really killed me was that so many women voted for him. That's what really killed me, is that so many women voted for him. I'll never forget when I was working at a retail store during this whole thing, and I knew that this older white woman who was going to vote for Trump. Like, she was a Trump supporter. And I still spoke to her. I had no issues really with her, as crazy as that may sound. But when I asked her, like, how do you feel about that? The thing she said to me was, oh, it's locker room talk. And I wanted to pose the question, is that your opinion, or is that because you heard that somewhere and you think it's normal and it's just fine to talk like this? So now we have him here, and he's looking to take away so many of our rights. But are we surprised? Because he was really honest. He was really honest in telling us how he felt. I don't think he really lied. He was honest. So when we can have a president that says, grab him by the pussy, yeah, and it's okay, damn, that's normalization of just abuse of women. How many women were coming out before he was even, before he really started to gain traction? Women were coming out and was like, yo, listen, this dude is sick. His ex-wife, I think of Ivanka, whatever, she was like, yeah, he raped me while we were married. Because again, the patriarchal thinking is that you are my property, so I can do with you as I wish. That's a problem. I mean, in my opinion, that's a problem. And women have been suffering emotionally and mentally, especially if we go back just in American history, right? During the 1920s and 30s, where women needed to have to go to the doctor, and to literally have the doctor, have to cause them to have orgasms. It was called hysteria or something to that effect, where women were, they're going mad. Yeah, they're going mad because their sexuality has been suppressed. Their sexuality has been suppressed. So yeah. Or just when, a man decides he wanted back then to, have an affair or get married with someone, and then just, call the institution, the nut house, and say, yeah, I need to bring my wife in. She's lost it. Could be completely false. But because that's her husband and she is his property, then he can admit her into an asylum, a mental institution, so that he can go philander and do whatever the hell he wanted to. So, I like history. I'm a history buff. And I like to look at the history of these things and why they came about. And one of the things that I was reading that I kind of found fascinating, I didn't read the Da Vinci Code, so I ain't gonna lie to you about that. But I did watch the movie, and I saw it years ago, and one of the things that I was reading, and it came from a journal out of the CJ Jung Institute of San Francisco, and it was written by a man named John Gianni. The Sacred Secret, right? The real mystery of the Da Vinci Code. Now, reading this, I said, well, I have to go back. And not only do I have to watch the movie again, but I got to read the book. And I'm going to read you just a little excerpt of this. And he writes, the behavior of the knights in these stories depict the dominance of a patriarchal culture whose masculine values are the antithesis of the sacred secret. You gotta ask yourself, what the hell is the sacred secret, right? What is the sacred secret? Let me continue reading. The patriarchal culture described in Brown's book, although its particulars are Judeo-Christian, has been the controlling ideology of all human cultures for the last 5,000 years. The realization that this patriarchal culture was not necessarily dominant before this time is based on a recent explosion of studies of the Neolithic period in history in which goddesses dominated cultures existence for millennia, before the patriarch, which is a male-oriented society and psychic principles. I believe the feminine principle, which dominated the goddess era, is the divine dynamic of all nature in every moment of time and space. It is the natural ground of our humanity in its maternal contentment and inclusiveness. In this regard, I have learned for over 50 years of working with life stories, including my own, that our personal histories are most often full of pain and confusion because of the dominant masculine principle in our culture. I have come to realize that feminine wisdom from the unconscious provides a healing antidote to this. This realization has been a lifelong process. It is the inner feminine knowledge that is the sacred secret in the Da Vinci Code. Now, this book sold over like 60 million copies worldwide. And so I know that it went over my head that that's what the sacred, secret was. It may have gone over your head too. It may have gone over your head too. What is it that scares men so much when it comes to letting women in the round table? You need us just as much as we need you. We are the mothers. We are the life force. We give life We nurture. And right about now, all you got to do is turn on the news and tell me we don't need nurturing. Tell me we don't need love and compassion. And this is where I feel women need to unite. Women need to put aside their differences. Because when women have biases and when women have prejudices and when women have all of these, things that do not help society, then we teach our children that. And then the cycle begins. And it continues. So if you think that, telling your son or your little brother, or your little cousin, oh, don't cry, only girls cry, or this, that, and the third, you don't understand what you are actually causing. You are doing damage. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying kill off the masculine principle, no. Again, I just said we need the masculine principle just as much as we need the feminine principle. We need them together. We need them to learn to work together. Because when that happens, we can have a more unified society, a more benevolent society. Societies that actually have had, you have many different societies, some that are patriarchal, some that are matriarchal, and some that actually, have both men and women have power. And from research has shown that the ones who did well were the ones who had both men and women in power as equals. Imhotep and Nefertiti, I think that was like in ancient times, one of the last empires that actually had both a king and a queen that worked side by side. And they reigned for a long time with hardly any war. The people were happy. Everything comes to an end. So, things happen, things come to an end. But we need to be able to come together as women, teach our children the right way so that our great-grandchildren, the future of this country, the future of this planet, can be a better one. I myself am a mother of 2 young boys. Well, one will be 17 in March. And the other one is 7. And I look at them and I can see my way of thinking. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, is the way I was thinking or the views that I had when I had my first child at the tender age of 19 and the way he thinks now. I know that I influenced those thoughts and the patterns and how he thinks. And so now I'm sitting here trying to kind of reverse that. Because there were things that I felt were, normal, right? That's normal, Don't cry. You a little boy, don't cry. Wow. So now when we are dealing with emotionless men who we want them to love us and to cherish us and to treat us a certain way, how can they when they've never been taught to? Because the mothers didn't teach them how to love. Because we as women were taught, you too emotional. So you see how the pattern goes? It's hard. It's hard to, want to have a loving relationship with men who don't know how to love. Because the mothers who are the first teachers have been taught You can't show emotion, because then if you show emotion, you're looked at as weak. In the business world, the higher you climb that corporate ladder, the brutal you must become. And I'm sorry, it's fucked up. Excuse my language, but it is. I was in the retail industry for 20 years. And when I was just a sales associate, everything was fine, It was cool. Nobody thought too much of it. But it's when I started actually deciding, I want to climb up this ladder. I want to get into management. I've been doing this long enough. I know what the hell I'm doing. That's when I started to see the difference. That's when I started to see the resistance. That's when I'm like, well, damn, I have to be this way. I can't be just my normal bubbly self. No. Because when a woman walks in, she's not taken seriously. You almost have to have this domineering kind of masculine, tone to you to be taken seriously. And to me, one of the most perfect examples of that is Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope from Scandal. When she walks in the room, she walks in as dipped out as she may be, as feminine dressing as she may be. She has to exhibit a more masculine quality to be taken serious. At this point, obviously, we know in the show she's taken seriously because she is the fixer. The woman is the one who comes in and fixes the crap. That's just what it is. Women, we come in and we fix things. We clean up the crap. From the time we become mothers, or even when you're not a mother, your older sister, or you're a sister, you taking care of the kids, you clean up crap, you clean up poop, you clean, you're cleaning things up. And to suppress us like that, it only hurts you. It only hurts society. And it only hurts. No, not it only hurts. It hurts humanity. It's hurting humanity. It is hurting us. We're having more protests, I feel, than we should. We're having more division than we should. Because at the end of the day, the division that has been happening, or some of us are noticing, has always been there. And I feel that women are the antidote to saving humanity. Because I swear, if I see another bombing or another person being, sold into slavery, or another young girl or boy going missing because of sex trafficking, God, the world looks really ugly. The world looks really, really ugly. However, at the same time, there's beauty happening in it. There's beauty happening in it. And that is what I focus on. So, what do you think? You can call in. You can tell me what you think, because I could keep talking about this forever. Like, literally. This is why I decided to do the ISIS Chronicles. This is why I decided that I needed to hear women's stories and issues. Because when women start to realize, holy crap, I got more in common with you than I even thought. When we really understand that this race crap is a human construct, then, I mean, and that to divide is to conquer. Once unity happens, man, watch out. The goddesses are definitely awakening. The goddesses are awakening. The feminine principle, that sacredness of the woman, the womb, is starting to take hold. And I advise all my young ladies out there, my listeners and everything like that, start looking within you spiritually. You know, I'm not telling you go into church or go. No, just take just go in your bathtub, fill up your bath, put a little bit of chamomile, you know, little herbs and whatever, and get in there and think. Men too, do this too. And start to actually look not only at your life, but what's happening around you. Look at your situation and ask yourself, is this where I want to be? Is this how I want to be? And how can I change this? What can I do better for myself? Because once you start to self-love, and once, you know, you start to actually love who you are and stuff like that, you don't have time for hate. That's I mean, like, how can I hate you? I don't hate myself. I don't hate myself. So I can't really look at another person and say, oh, I hate you because you do not look like me. Or I hate you because you don't think like me. The goddesses, the energy, is time. On my book bag, I have a Time's Up pin from the Women's March that I was in, January 21st. Thanks to my cousin Soma Arzu Brown, who actually wrote a book about diversity and how we can, you know, come together and teach tolerance. See, this is what the divine feminine principle does. We teach. We teach. And we need to start teaching the right thing. Teaching love, teaching compassion. You know, some people might say, oh, you know, I can't love my enemies and all that stuff like that. Yeah, you don't have to love them. You don't have to, but you should. And I really believe that you should have some type of compassion. Because we don't know what that person has gone through. And I know I got into a discussion with this and about, well, what if they were rapists? And what if they raped, you know, a young child, or you know, should they have some type of consequence? Yeah, absolutely. But my whole thing is, let's get to the root of the problem. Why are there so many rapes happening? That should be, to me, the question. What is the underlying issues? Because see, here in America, we love to patch things up. We like to put Band-Aids on bullet wounds. We love to put Band-Aids on bullet wounds. And one of the best ways or best examples of that is racism. Racism is one of the best examples of it. Because we don't want to talk about why there's so much racism in this country. In Germany, they have monuments and they have tours and where they show you, where the Jewish people were, their concentration camps and the stuff that they went through, and they show you the past. And the reason they have not repeated the same thing over and over and over again is because they acknowledged the horrific things that happened there. They have not acknowledged what happened here in this country against blacks. And this, first slaves came, 1610? It's 2018. So if we just got a African-American museum in DC. So if it took this long to and that's a big acknowledge what happened in this country, well, how long is it going to take to acknowledge the suffering and the suffrage of women? How long is that going to take? I say it shouldn't have to take that long. Women, we need to unite. We need to teach our children better. Men, you need to understand and realize the fight that the women around you go through every single day. Be it your mother, your wife, your sister, cousins, aunts, nieces. Understand what they go through every single day. Hell, if you got a wife, if you got a girlfriend, switch roles with her for one day or even a weekend. Switch roles. See how you can handle being her for one day without her help. Not so easy. We do a lot. And it's almost never enough, which is the weirdest thing. It's almost never enough. And we always feel inadequate, like we're not doing enough, because we are made to feel like we are not doing enough. But my thing to you, women, ladies, girls, is that you are enough. You are more than enough. You are doing enough. Now, if you personally feel that you could be doing more, if you personally feel that you have more to give, well then, okay. That's coming from within you. Let's not let a male-driven, male-dominated society make you feel inadequate. Because you're not. And I really, really, really do need men, to step up. To step up and tell the women in your lives that they are appreciated and that they are loved and that you will protect them. Because though I'm a feminist, I do still believe in certain roles, I still believe men do certain things and women do certain things because that's what makes us beautifully different. We bring something to the table That's why when a man and a woman get together and they understand their roles and how to live within their roles, they can do great things together. But the minute one start thinking that they better than the other, or they're stronger, they're smarter, whatever, yeah, you're gonna fall into some problems. You're gonna definitely fall into some problems. It just is not going to work. And this is not gonna, like I said, it's not gonna be an easy thing. It's not gonna be an easy thing to do. It's not gonna be an easy thing to overcome, because now this is 6,000 years of being conditioned. I mean, shit, even in the way we are taught. Even in the way we're taught. You know? I mean, we can look at something like Romeo and Juliet. Right? And how Juliet's cousin is killed. Right? Yet she is more devastated, you know, by what's going on with Romeo. That she chooses her husband over her cousins, you know, shows a sense of belonging, being less as a human and more as an object to her groom. Now, we also have the thinking of, I'm a philosophy major, and I you know, I had to read a Plato and Socrates, and you know, I had an issue with Socrates, with the apologies. I mean, it goes this far back, and we're still teaching this. We're still teaching the patriarchal, domineering lessons. And this is all coming into our subconscious. You know? He gets put to death because he is told, you know, by the Senate that, you know, he has corrupted the minds of the youth. And I wish I would have had the apology right in front of me, because what he says is, you know, he tells them don't be, you know, pretty much emotional like women. Don't act like women. And I was like, wait, what? Seriously? And they got their asses spanked by the Spartans. The Spartans, who revered their women. The Spartans who understood without their women, man, they wasn't shit. Who, when the queen was asked, what gives you the right to speak to me as a man? She says, well, I'm a Spartan woman. And the reason I can speak to you that way is because I am his mother. I am who gave him life. I give them life. See what I mean? And then Athens got their asses whooped, which was weird to me because your name is after a goddess. Is after a goddess. And then to make her fit more of your mold, you started to change things about Athena. The changing of the feminine principle. And it's still with us till this day. Something as simple as ISIS. You hear ISIS and you think, oh my God, Islamic radicals, they're going to come in and they're going to bomb. And to me, that's a direct attack on the goddess Isis, the goddess mother Isis, the Egyptian goddess. Okay? That's an attack to me. Why did you could not come up with any other name, abbreviation, anything? You couldn't do that? You couldn't do that. You had to go and give the name of a mother goddess, one of the most revered goddesses. You give that name to a terrorist group? I mean, it goes that deep. It goes that deep. To me, that's how I look at it. Okay? We have got to stop this attack, this suppression of the feminine principle. Everyone needs to awaken it. It's only going to help humanity. The power that men feel to dominate and control women trickles over even into our planet Earth. Because we want to take over the earth. We want to change her. Currently, I'm reading Cadillac Desert. And I'm only on this first chapter. I read the introduction on the first chapter, and it shows how trying to change nature has caused such ill effect. And it's continuing to cause it. But that's because man thinks that they can have power over nature. And you can't. Because we need Mother Earth. Mother Earth don't need us. So, that's why I played Listen by Beyonce. I played that because I feel that men, you need to listen to us. You need to listen to the songs that are in our hearts. To bring about change for our future. For our kids, their kids. Okay? That is what's needed. So, I'm going to actually play the ending of that song because I love it so much. And I just want to say to everyone who tuned in to listen to me just gab, thank you. Okay, I will be on every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Please go listen to, actually I'll have this on my YouTube channel, The Isis Chronicles. You can also find me at on Instagram at _Isis_Chronicles. Okay, you can find me there. Go to my website, www.theisischronicles.com. And I will see or talk to you guys next week. I hope this, opened some eyes. I hope you guys, can let this sink in a little bit. Yeah. Ashe.